Welcome to the Eat This Book podcast. I'm Michael Whitworth. Each day we take a small piece of scripture and we sit with it. Not a quick snack that disappears before lunch, not a chore you check off of a list, but rather a meal meant to be savored. So pull up a chair. Let's eat. In our 7th episode, we're talking about day 7 of creation in Genesis chapter 2, verses 1 through 3. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the 7th day God finished his work that he had done, and he rested on the 7th day from all his work that he had done. So God blessed the 7th day and made it holy, because on it God rested from all his work that he had done in creation. The work is done. 6 days of speaking, separating, filling, blessing, light and darkness, sky and sea, land and vegetation, sun, moon, stars, fish, birds, animals, and finally, humanity, image bearers, crowned with dignity and purpose. And then God stops. Verse 2, and on the 7th day God finished his work that he had done, and he rested. Not because he was tired. The God who spoke galaxies into existence doesn't get winded. He rested because he was finished. The work was complete. There was nothing left to add. And here's what I want you to savor for a moment. The first thing God does after making humans in his image is rest. Day 6, we arrive. Day 7, God rests. Which means the first full day of human existence was a day of rest. We didn't start with work. We started with Sabbath. Think about what that means. Adam and Eve wake up on day 7 and there's nothing to do. The garden is already planted. The animals are already named. The world is already very good. They didn't earn any of it. They didn't contribute to any of it. They just walked into a finished world and rested. Their first experience of existence wasn't labor. It was a gift. We have it backwards. We think we work first and then rest. That rest is the reward for effort, the prize at the end of productivity. But God's design is the opposite. We rest first. We receive before we achieve. We start from a place of gift, not debt. Rest isn't something you earn. It's something you're invited to. I think a lot of us have trouble believing that. We live in a culture that worships productivity. There's always more to do. The to-do list never ends. And even when the work stops, our minds keep spinning, planning, worrying, rehearsing what's next. We feel guilty when we're not busy. We feel anxious when we're not productive. Rest feels like laziness. Stillness feels like failure. And somewhere along the way, we started believing that our worth is tied to our output. If we're not producing, we're not valuable. If we're not achieving, we're not enough. Genesis 2 says otherwise. God rested. The creator of the universe, the one with infinite capacity, infinite energy, infinite things he could do, he stopped. And he didn't just stop, he blessed the stopping. He made it holy. If rest is good enough for God, it's good enough for you. Here's something I don't want you to miss. Look at verse 3. So God blessed the 7th day and made it holy, because on it God rested from all his work that he had done in creation. The 7th day is the first thing in all of Scripture that God makes holy. Not a place, not a person, not an object, a day, a segment in time. God sanctifies rest. He sets it apart. He says, this is different. This matters. This is sacred. We tend to think of holiness as connected to activity, worship services, religious rituals, spiritual disciplines, and those things can be holy. But the first holy thing in the Bible is a day of not doing, a day of stopping, a day of rest. Rest isn't the absence of holiness. Rest is holiness. It's sacred space in time. There's something else strange about day 7. Did you notice it? Every other day in Genesis 1 ends the same way. And there was evening, and there was morning, the first day, the second day, the third day, all the way through day 6. But day 7? No evening and morning. No closing formula. The day just doesn't end. This is intentional. The Sabbath is open-ended. It's still going. As Hebrews 4 talks about, we long to experience the long day of God's rest, waiting for the final consummation when all things are made new. I love what this suggests. Rest isn't a brief interruption in an otherwise endless grind. Rest is the destination. Rest is where the story is headed. The whole arc of creation points toward a day that doesn't end, a Sabbath that goes on forever. You were made for rest, not just a nap here and there, deep, eternal, unending rest in the presence of God. So, what does this mean for us practically? It means rest is not optional. It's built into the fabric of creation. God modeled it. God blessed it. God made it holy. And if we're made in His image, we're made to rest. You are not a machine. You are not defined by your output. You are a creature, finite, limited, dependent, and you were designed to stop. I know that's hard. I know the bills don't stop. I know the kids don't stop. I know the emails don't stop. I'm not pretending rest is easy or that it comes naturally in our world, but I'm saying it's holy, and I'm saying that God invites you into it. The Sabbath is an invitation to trust. When you rest, you're saying, the world will keep spinning without me. You're saying, my worth isn't determined by what I produce today. You're saying, God is God, and I am not. That's hard for us. We like to feel indispensable. We like to believe that everything depends on us. Rest requires us to let go of that illusion. It requires trust. And maybe that's why God modeled it first. He rested on day 7, not because He needed to, but because we needed to see it. We needed to know that rest is good. We needed permission to stop. Consider this your permission. There's one more thing. The New Testament picks up this theme and carries it somewhere beautiful. In Matthew 11, Jesus says, "Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." The Sabbath isn't just a day, it's a person. The rest God offers isn't just cessation of activity, it's a relationship. It's coming to Jesus and finding in Him what we could never produce on our own: peace, acceptance, and wholeness. You don't have to earn it. You can't earn it. You just come. You receive. You rest. So here's what day 7 offers. If you're exhausted, if you've been running on empty, grinding through life, measuring your worth by your productivity, day 7 says, stop. Rest is holy. Rest is blessed. Rest is an invitation from the God who made you. If you feel guilty for resting, if stillness feels like failure, day 7 says God rested first. You're not being lazy, you're being human. You're following in the footsteps of your Maker. And if you're longing for a rest that goes deeper than a day off, day 7 points you forward. The Sabbath has no evening and morning. The rest is coming. The day that doesn't end is on its way. Until then, practice. Stop. Breathe. Trust. You were made for this. And there was evening and there was morning. Actually, no, not this time. The 7th day. Holy, blessed, open-ended rest. Next time on Eat This Book, the camera zooms in. Creation slows down. God stops speaking worlds into existence and gets His hands dirty. In Genesis 2, humanity isn't summoned with a word. We're formed from dust, and then God leans in close and breathes. In our next episode, we'll talk about what it means to be both fragile and sacred, why remembering the dust keeps us humble, and remembering the breath keeps us from despair. If you've ever felt too small to matter, or too strong to need help, this passage is for you. Join me next time as we learn what it means to be made of dust and filled with breath. Thanks for eating with me. Until next time, may the Word dwell in you richly.